Now, this is the D-League Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into the D-League Show. I'm John Chandler. Coach D. Brown will join us from the road in just a minute. The road, that's where the Armor will spend most of their time to open the new year here. Schedule makers weren't kind enough to send the Armor on the road for 5 of their first 7 games in January. It's a pretty tough draw, but it'll help to have Craig Brackens back on assignment from the Philadelphia 76ers. That starts tonight for one of their few home games here in the first couple weeks of January against Dakota at the Mass Mutual Center. Brackens, remember, played well in his first stint with the Armor. 5 games, averaged better than 17 points in those 5 games. That included a 30-point effort back on December the 5th. Good to see D. Brown from the road. We say hello to the coach, Skyping in from his hotel out there, ordering room service. Got the feet kicked up. D, you enjoying life out on the road?
Hey, this is where guys and teams kind of get close together. So we played a lot of home games so far, but we're excited to be on the road. You don't want to be on the road for so long, just a few games, but we're going to be out here for a while. So, that's how the schedule works, and hopefully we'll bond together and get some W's out here.
Oh, you will get a break here tonight at the Mass Mutual Center with Dakota back for a quick stop back home before heading out to the D-League Showcase. We'll talk about the showcase in just a second. I want to talk about Craig Brackens a little bit, though, getting him back on this team. Tell us a little bit about his assignment here and how you expect to kind of fit him back in that lineup.
Well, we're glad to have him back again. The way this relationship works with Philadelphia, they really trust us down here in Springfield with him to develop him. To make him a better, rebounder, better professional. And Craig's been ultimate professional when he's been here. So we're excited to have him back. He'll help us out in the front court with our scoring, with our rebounding. But it's all about developing him, making him better. The guys like him around, and we like him around. So, it's really exciting to have him back. We don't know how long he's going to be here. He might be here for 5 games, might be here for more games than that. But as long as he's here, we're going to utilize him. And the guys tend to love to play with him, and he kind of raises the level of our talent and our intensity when he's on the court.
Well, Craig comes down having been where a lot of these other guys on the Armor roster, all of them actually, would like to get to, the NBA at some point. And you've got the D-League Showcase coming up this week, and that's obviously a prime opportunity here for players to kind of parlay that into a 10-day contract at the very least here from an NBA team. On Wednesday, 10-day contracts open up. That's fair game, and obviously all these guys are going to be playing in front of a lot of scouts out there down in Texas at South Padre Island here. So tell us about this showcase, and it's kind of a tricky balance for coaches because players can tend to start playing more individually.
Our marquee event is a showcase for all 16 teams are in one city. It's not a tournament. We're just playing a couple of teams. We'll play Idaho again. We'll probably see Antoine Walker again, and we'll play Utah. So we're excited about that. We get a chance to play them on the road. But again, it's that event where all the decision makers, general managers, scouts are out there trying to find out if they want to send guys, bring guys up for 10-day contracts. A lot of guys get their name on a lot of these GMs and decision maker lists for the summer league rosters, or to get called up in the year for the playoffs. So that's the toughest part. We here this week. You got so many players all in one. It's almost like being at the Final Four. So many players, so many people around. Guys talking to other guys about their team, about their aspirations to get to the NBA, what they can and cannot do to get that call up. So it's delicate because you don't want guys to all of a sudden spin off and be their own individual. We want them to go out and play their game and showcase what they can do, but also in the team confinement and things we've been over and taught. So guys have been doing a great job of doing that. Last year we didn't have any problems with that. So hopefully this year the guys understand a little bit more, understanding that your team plays well and you win games, it gives you a better look and opportunity to get to that next level.
Well, and of James Curry last year getting the call up, the 10-day contract from the LA Clippers, but that had nothing really to do with the showcase because if memory serves, the Clippers didn't even have a scout out there for whatever the reason. No. So it's not all just about the showcase if they want to get that 10-day contract, but it does kind of open the doors up here for them. Is there a player on your roster right now that you feel is really close to getting a look?
Well, I think everybody thinks Scotty Reynolds is that guy. I mean, he got hurt for about a week and a half. And his first game back, just was a little rusty. But he's a guy that everybody's been looking at. Everybody's keeping their eyes on him. James Curry, people still ask about James and the guy who I think is under the radar is Vernon Goodrich, just because he's a rebounding shot blocker. When he's on the court, he changes the way we play our defense. So those two guys really be getting a lot of looks. The guy that really came in and was a better player than I thought he was Chase McFarland. Tough, passionate basketball player, can score inside, doesn't back down anybody. He's the guy who can go on the roster and help anybody because he plays hard, he knows his role. So we've got 4 guys that, have been getting phone calls about, constantly. But everybody knows that they're getting looks when they go on the court, that they do what they do best. And give opportunities for those scouts to see what they do in like I say, in the scheme of what we're trying to do as a team.
Well, the NBA not necessarily looking for a guy out there who can drop 20 and 10 in a game. It's more of maybe a guy that does the little things that could be more likely to get a 10-day call-up. Looking around the rest of the league, I got my eyes on Jeff Adrian, now with Rio Grande Valley, traded from the Erie Bayhawks. He's been a rebounding machine this year in his stint in the D-League, and a guy obviously down the road here at UConn that the folks know very well. Around the league, who do you think, or who do you get a sense could be that first call-up this season here for the D-League?
Well, I mean, it's so many guys that have been in the league in the past. If there was Jeffers out of Iowa, Courtney Sims out of Iowa, they're arguably the best team in the league right now, got the best record. Rio Grande always keeps really good players, but all of a sudden have Mustafa Shakur, who was at Tulsa last year, and Jeff Adrian, who's a guy who just got waived from an NBA team about a couple weeks ago. So there's a lot of guys who've been playing well. Tiny Gallen, who I think is a guy we've seen a lot of over the past 2 months. Second-round pick by the Bucks, and the reason why they said he didn't make that team was not because he couldn't play at that level, because his attitude wasn't up to par of what Coach Scott Skiles wanted. So I think coming down to the D-League helped him out a lot. So those guys we've really got really strong looks at because of East Coast guys. Ivan Johnson, a guy from Erie, who played against Walker Russell Jr. from Fort Wayne. He's a really good, solid point guard. You look at these guys, their teams are doing well, and it gives them more eyes on their basketball team. So there's just so many guys out there. You see a lot of guys now coming from overseas because of the showcase. So you're going to see a lot of big names popping up over the course of the next, week or so of guys who think will get called up for a 10-day contract.
All right, D, stay where you're at. You mentioned Chase McFarland. We're going to talk a little bit more about Chase McFarland and his teammate, again, L.D. Williams. Yeah, teammates again, these two. We'll explain their story. That's coming up when the D-League show returns here on CBS 3 Springfield.
You're watching the D-League Show.
Welcome back, everybody. One of the things about the D-League, guys come together so quickly at the beginning of the season, they often have to spend a lot of it just getting to know each other. Well, earlier in the season, the Armor had a pair of college teammates, Jerry Smith and Terrence Williams out of Louisville. That worked out well for Williams, who benefited on his assignment from the Nets playing with Smith. Well, it's working again for the Armor. L.D. Williams and Chase McFarland played together at Wake Forest. CBS 3 Sports Director Ezra Broder has their story.
The saying goes, familiarity breeds contempt. Not in the case of these two teammates, though.
I don't even like him, really.
It's a big luckhead.
L.D. Williams and Chase McFarland played together at Wake Forest for 4 seasons.
We hung out all the time, going to get food to, being together for, the roughest times of our lives to, the best of moments, playing together on the court.
My freshman year, we were together all the time. I think that might have been just because I'm the only one that had a car, but we always went out to eat, and all 4 years, we always hung out, and, when we graduated together. So, we're really close.
After graduation, the two went their separate ways, but now they're back together again in the D-League.
Whenever I found out I was leaving Brazil, me and LD was still in, good contact, so I said something to him.
We have the same agent and everything, so obviously, we both talked about trying to be on the same team, and then probably like a week or two later, he was talking about coming out here. I was pretty excited.
The two have been playing together with the Springfield Armor for over half a dozen games, and the results have been pretty good. McFarland is averaging 10.5 points per contest, and Williams has increased his scoring average.
Having somebody else here that, I know how he plays, I know how emotional he is, how he loves the game, his passion for the game is definitely a good thing to have somebody on the team that you know that well.
Anytime you played, with somebody for 3 or 4 years, that's going to be an advantage for the both of you, because you guys understand each other's games and know what one can do and what can do. And so yeah, it's very beneficial.
For the D-League show, I'm Ezra Broder.
All right, Ezra, very nice. And, let's bring D. Brown back in via Skype here. D, as I'm watching that story, the one thing that strikes me, you hear him talking about, LD talking about Chase's emotion out there on the floor, and we see a lot of that. I would imagine that really has to help to have LD, when you bring in Chase, it's helping his profile, it's helping their chemistry out on the floor, and it's probably helping in the locker room too.
Yeah, it does help. The one thing that I did do is when I saw we had opportunity to get Chase McFarland, I went and talked to LD and said, what kind of teammate is he? And forget about the basketball thing. I can look at enough video on seeing if he can play or not. I had enough skills, but it's more of the stuff that you talk about in the locker room, their chemistry, to be able to blend on the court and off the court, and they've been great together. Same thing when Terrence came down. I went to Jerry and go, Jerry, guy's talented. How is he in the locker room? What kind of teammate is he? That's important in this league, especially because of all the turnover you have, because of you only have 10 guys, but to see those two guys interact that way and be able to blend so quickly together and with the other teammates, it's good for us.
Well, you talk specifically here about Chase. I would imagine his experience in the D-League and the instant success that he has had here with the Armor, would that have been different on another team that maybe he wouldn't have had LD Williams to help kind of ease him in?
Yeah, I think it would have been, because he fit right in with the rest of the guys, and they talk, they interact all the time together, and I think just having a comfort level of a person in the locker room, especially when you're learning the plays, learning how to play, really the pro game, and he was in Brazil for a short period of time, but to come back and all of a sudden slide in with a person and probably a couple guys he played against in college, and they talk, they have their college basketball stories when they play certain teams. It's good to have that. So because of all the guys are young, just maybe 1 to 2 years removed out of college, they have those same stories and same experiences, and just with LD being there, kind of ease them into being a person that is kind of blended in real well together with everybody else.
Yeah, we know from experience it doesn't take much to get them to start bringing out their war stories from the ACC at Wake Forest. They love to talk about that stuff. Specifically with Chase, you want to talk about his emotion out there on the floor. He got a pretty quick tee and got ejected from a recent game here. Is this something you have to worry about with him going forward, and how do you coach a guy like that?
Well, you don't want to take away his passion or his emotion, and we try not to do that. But when you talk to him, there's a time and place for everything, and let me do my job and being on the refs and staying on them. I'll have more rope to hang myself with than you do because of the new tolerance rule with the players. And, I think every game he's been with us, he's got a technical. So hopefully he can understand that, you say what you got to say, they'll listen to you, but let it go after that and go play ball. So we had a small conversation, but I never told him to not be passionate, don't play hard, and not express your opinion. But understand that the refs have a job too, and they make mistakes. Let me do the rest. I'll fight for you, and he understood that. So hopefully, as we move forward, that'll become better, and the refs understand what kind of passionate player that he is.
Plenty more to come here on the D-League show, including, you'll get after the referees from time to time. Assistant coach Tommy Verdell mic'd up. This ought to be pretty good. The refs know all about him as well around the league. You got some help on that bench.
You're watching the D-League Show.
Welcome back as we check in on the Armor's affiliates. Well, obviously, the big rumor du jour in the NBA here for this first half of the season has been, where will Carmelo Anthony land? You've heard Yahoo Sports reporting twice now. First, that he would only go to the New York Knicks in a sign and trade deal, and Carmelo wouldn't budge from that. Well, now Yahoo reporting that maybe Melo's thinking the Nets could be an option. Of course, Carmelo was born, spent the first 8 years of his life in Brooklyn, where the Knicks will eventually move to. Devin Harris could be included in a sign and trade deal. And anything that goes down there with Carmelo Anthony headed to the Nets, that could be a possibility, but there's still a lot of hoops to jump through there. Something to keep your eyes on. Nets entering the week at 9-25. The Knicks 5-5 in their last 10 games entering the week, so they're sliding as well. The 76ers 3-5 during an 8-game road trip. The Knicks are going to be missing Gallinari for 2 to 3 weeks as well, so they're hurting. Without question, the affiliates bumped up a little bit. Landry Fields named the East Rookie of the Month as well for the Knicks, so he's playing some pretty good basketball. But all in all, that's been kind of a rocky couple of weeks for the Armor's 3 affiliates. All right, the coach is only as good as his assistants. Any good head coach will tell you that. We threw a microphone on assistant coach Tommy Verdell during a recent game to hear just what goes on during a game, not just from the head coach. The assistants do some talking too. Take a listen.
Starts with the stop. Starts with the stop. By yourself, Chase. Help, Jerry. You good. Dead. Push it, push it. Butter. Oh, got to duck in. Come on, duck. You got. Get back. Stay with them, Vern. You got ball, Jerry. There it is. Push. Going up. There we go. Go to work. One more.
Shot.
Yeah, that's got to be a shot there.
Gotta be a shot.
Good job, Al. There you go. Another stop. Took 2 hands on the ball handler. They got called out. Step it, reverse it. Go, J.O., yep. Sit, Chase. Got him. They had him. Damn, should have thrown that one inside. Get back. Stop ball, Jerry. Take the charge. There you go. By yourself, Jerry. We green up top. By yourself, Chase. The duck in. You got the duck in. J.O., stay. You good. Weak side. Stay awake. Weak side. Stay awake here. J.O., stay good. We go on. Push, Chase. Push. Get back. Chase, you got 2. No, done one. He went to play the ball. That's a good hard foul. That's all. Let's get it done. You feel me?
Hey, it starts on this side. Swing it.
Yeah, that's open there.
Let's get a reversal. There you go. Duck in.
Butter. That's a
free
turn
kick,
the
man.
face.
There we go.
Let's go. Get back. By yourself. Blue.
Outside, Bird. He's not stopping.
Push.
Go. Run,
Yeah,
Bird.
there you go. And 1. Hey. Another stop.
Hey, come on, talk.
Legs. Uh-oh. Get back. Butter.
Let's go, Al.
We're having to work hard for every point. Too hard. Another stop. Let's go. Watch the duck in. It's too easy. Gavin right now, he just don't know the plays well enough. You know what I mean? But the scary thing is, like you said, it's game, travel, game, travel. Ain't no time for practice, so.
No.
Because like well, I mean on that hawk action just now, he was gonna go set that screen and who you call was passing.
Open your mouth and tell him to
I
pop.
hear you. I feel you.
You know what I mean? Tell him to pop.
One more. Go, keep it up. Go. Come on, we gotta get the stop. Hit ahead. Wait, how you gonna call a technical there? You can't stop the break. God damn. You can't stop the break there. You gotta let us score and then call the technical.
All right, welcome back in. Head coach Dee Brown out on the road via Skype. And, we're listening to Tommy there. I mean, he's not holding back on those officials at the end there, but it's good for you to have a guy who is so involved as an assistant coach as well as Kevin Whitted out there on the bench.
Well, Tommy's great. Tommy's been with us since day one. He was one of the first coaches in the area that I met through our local tryout. And I liked his passion. I liked his teaching. And I invited him, to come a couple practices and help out. And it turned into really being one of our assistant coaches. Tommy doesn't get paid. Tommy does this because he loves the game. He's trying to get experience. He's at every practice. He doesn't go on the road with us, but he's there. And he talks to us during the games. He makes sure that he's on top of everything. The guys love him, and he loves it. So to get somebody who's a local guy from Springfield who knows the area but just loves to be a part of what's going on the basketball court, you can't ask for anything better than that out of Tommy Verdell.
Well, and I think that's an important point. I mean, he doesn't get paid. He doesn't earn a dime from this, but yet his passion shows with every game. He's so into it. That has to just permeate down to the players. I mean, they have to pick up on that.
They do, and they know that too. And they call them on off days to get workouts in, to get shots up. And Tommy's always been there for him. And like I said, I met him, 2 years ago. We were trying to get local coaches come involved with our team at our local tryout. When we first started putting our roster together, I just saw how excited he was to be there and how he wanted to learn and wanted to teach and be around these guys, and invited him after that. And ever since, he's really been a guy that I learned some things from, and he just, again, he loves it, and the players love being around him.
Outstanding stuff. A crucial guy to have down at the end of your bench, no doubt about that, to turn to, and in practice as well. All right, D, stay where you're at. We are not quite done yet. We're coming back to ask a very crucial question. If you could design any shoe, any basketball shoe, what would you want that shoe to look like? Think about that when we come back after this here on CBS 3 Springfield with the D-League Show.
You're watching the D-League Show.
Welcome back, folks. All right, when it comes to sneakers, Massachusetts has always been in the mix. For years, Reebok and Converse have based their operations here in the Bay State. That means some of us in this region know a thing or two about designing a good basketball shoe. And that, of course, got us thinking. If you could design your own basketball shoe, what would that look like?
Sort of the versions of the Kobe line that's been coming out, the low top or something like that. A low top shoe, very light. Something that that you can't feel too much on your feet, and that's what I've been playing in, and hopefully one day I could get there.
Oh man, I used to actually do that when I was a kid. Just used to draw different types of shoes. I can't really explain what it would look like, but I definitely think that would be an interesting project if I ever got the chance to have my input in on a shoe.
It will kind of look like the Kobe's, low top, you can make your cuts in them. I really like those Kobe's, the new ones.
So would this be designed more for comfort or more for the looks?
Oh, definitely for comfort. I think if you go for looks, you might get a sprained ankle or something. So you definitely gotta go for comfort and let everything take its place.
I want to be something comfortable that they could play in, but also something at the same time that looks really good. Just how Tinker Hatfield designed the whole Jordan brand shoe. Just something along those lines that everybody would want to rush to the store and get, something that would sell out quick. I definitely would have some ideas if Nike was ever interested. I definitely have some different ideas. I'm not an engineering major, but I can definitely draw some if they needed me to.
Would they be a certain color or anything like that, or?
Not really. It can be any color, but just as long as they're low top.
So what would make it unique to you? I mean, would you put your initials on it or something like that, or?
Nah, I wouldn't put my initials on it. Just make it low top and very, very light. I like a light shoe. You just cut in them and better.
Would you put your initials on it or something like that?
Oh yeah, have SR, have my number on it.
Now, would you sell them for $10 like Stephon Marbury did so everyone can get them? Or?
Nah, it probably start somewhere around $100, something reasonable, and then if you saw a lot of success, work its way up. But I don't think $10 shoes is gonna sit too well. People are gonna be a little skeptical about buying shoes for $10 and then being able to wear them and playing them. Just you gotta pay for quality sometimes.
And would they be the cheaper shoes like Stephon Marbury's, or would they be more Air Jordans or something?
Kind of like Kevin Durant's. It's mid-price, not too high. Some guys sell theirs for $150, $130. I wouldn't make them $20 like Marbury, but 50, $60.
What would the shoe be called? I mean, you got things like Air Jordan, obviously, or stuff like that.
Nah, nothing like that with my name on it. Probably just something simple. Come up with the little name. I can't think.
What about Reynolds Wrap?
I don't know if anybody would buy it though. That's the only thing.
Most importantly, what would you call the shoe? It's got to have a cool name, right?
Up tempos or something like that. Something creative. I think about that though.
All right, back we go to the road. Skype. D. Brown. I would imagine this has got to be a wheelhouse topic for you. I'm just guessing if you were able to create your own basketball shoe, it would probably have a little basketball on the tongue part at the top. You could press it, pump it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little biased on that just because I made one shoe really famous doing that. But the way shoes are made nowadays, they have to be light. So, and you have to be stylish, and yes, it would have that little ball there, but it'll have that little guy on the side with his tongue sticking out, and maybe the patent leather on the bottom that's very light. So I'll take a combination of both because I want to be unbiased. But everybody knows at that time when I played and dunk contest, my preference. But the way shoes are made nowadays, you can make them so many different ways. To have a combination of the pump and Jordans and maybe the old Chuck Taylors with the simpleness, I think that's a perfect shoe.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is full disclosure here. My mom would not let me get your shoes at first because she thought they were a little too steep back in the day. Now looking back at it, you're paying for quality. It's really not all that.
Yeah.
It really wasn't all that bad. It wasn't that expensive.
No, not at all. But back then, everything's relative. So
well, yeah.
Right now, you can get a pair of LeBrons for $175, which is that's steep. That's steep because I know it ain't gonna make me play like LeBron.
Nobody was wearing the Stephon Marburys though. Those don't hold up over a season. You got to get the quality.
Yeah, you got to get the quality, and you know what? You like what Marbury's doing with inexpensive shoes for people who can't afford the high end shoes.
Sure.
Like you said, the quality, your feet, especially as a basketball player. To me, your brain is the most important thing in your body, is your feet. If you have bad feet, you can't play this game.
Well, that's the thing. That's your tool of the trade. No doubt about that. Yeah. You have to have outstanding shoes. All right.
Yes.
Interesting stuff. As we head now to take a look at what are coming up here schedule-wise. Of course, you got tonight, 5 o'clock tip time against Dakota. That's the Mass Mutual Center. And Tuesday, it's the showcase. You're back out on the road in hotels down there in Texas. You got to tell those guys to be careful. Focus on basketball when you're down there. That's obviously a big thing for you.
Definitely. That's one thing that the scouts are looking at too. They're not looking at basketball things. They're looking at how you interact with people in the community. What do you do between games, after games, before games? How you talk to them and approach them. So other than playing basketball, they're looking for a player who's been developed all phases on and off the court down at the showcase.
Yeah, that's a very, very important point. No doubt about that. It's not necessarily what you put up in the box score. It's how you interact with your teammates out there and how you behave yourself. Some guys in the past have gotten in trouble at the showcase, and that's hurt them. So that's something as a coach I know you have to be wary of. Now, you can't, obviously, unless you want to hop a plane and join D and the guys down there in Texas, go see the games, but you can watch them at NBA.com/D-League on the FutureCast. Every game all season long available for free. You just got to sign up for an account there, and you're all set to go, but it doesn't cost you a dime. So that's a big thing. Watch them on the FutureCast all season long. And if you want, when they come back, make sure you check out ArmorHoops.com to reserve your best seats in the house for the 4 biggest games of the second half of the 2010-2011 season. And you'll get one for free. That starts only at $35. That's a great deal from the Springfield Armor. To find out more about it, you can go to ArmorHoops.com. All right, D, as you head into the second half of the season, final thought from you out on the road there. What are you looking for in these next couple of weeks from your team?
Well, us just a blend together. We've got some new guys, and there's always a changeover. And the second half of the season, it would be nice to see a couple of these guys not be around for specific reasons because they got called up. We got 10 days because that's what we're here for. But if not, keep plugging away. Get some wins. Still some of these road games and come back with renewed vigor and excitement for the hometown fans.
I think I hear room service knocking at your door, so you may want to go get your